The Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk. Picture this. It's 1995. A young man is on his knees, dusting shelves in his father's liquor store in New Jersey. He's surrounded by the smell of old wood, cardboard, and the faint, sweet scent of spilled wine. A customer walks in, holding a receipt and a coupon. He looks a little flustered. He says to the manager, "I just bought this bottle of Chardonnay for $5.99, but I got your $4.99 coupon in the mail. Can you honor it?" The manager, a man focused on the numbers, on the rules, says flatly, "No, you have to buy more to get it at $4.99. The customer's eyes widen. "Are you serious?" As the man walks out the door, disappointed and angry, the young man on the floor looks up and says to the manager, "That guy will never come back." He was wrong. The customer did come back, 2 months later, just to tell them he would never shop there again. That young man was Gary Vaynerchuk. And in that moment, he felt something deep in his gut. It wasn't about the $1, it was about everything else. It was about an opportunity, not to save a dollar, but to make a customer happy, to build a relationship, to earn trust. He knew, even then, that a business is only as strong as its closest customer relationships. Today, we're going to explore his profound book, The Thank You Economy. This isn't just a book about business or social media. It's a story about a massive, earth-shaking cultural shift that's taking us back to the way our great-grandparents used to do business. A time when your reputation was everything, when relationships were currency, and when a simple, heartfelt thank you could build an empire. By the end of our time together, you'll understand why the old rules of marketing are broken, and you'll discover the one timeless principle that will determine who wins and who loses in the new world of business. This isn't about learning a few new tricks. It's about understanding a fundamental change in human connection. And it all started with that $1 argument over a bottle of Chardonnay. Let's travel back even further, to a time our great-grandparents would remember. Imagine a small town. You knew the name of the butcher, Butcher Bob, and he knew yours. He knew your family, knew what cut of meat you liked, and knew to save a ham bone for you in the winter for your split pea soup. Business wasn't just a transaction. It was a relationship built on trust and mutual respect. If Butcher Bob treated you poorly, you wouldn't just keep it to yourself. You'd mention it at the PTA meeting or to your neighbors over the fence. Word of mouth was the original social network, and it was incredibly powerful. A business's reputation, its very survival, depended on treating every single person who walked through the door as if they mattered. Because they did. In a small, tight-knit community, losing one customer could mean losing 10 of their friends and relatives. This was an era of caring. The business was a legacy, a ticket to a better future for one's children. The owners were in it for the long haul. But then, something changed. The world got bigger, and at the same time, more distant. With the rise of the automobile and the sprawling suburbs, those small-town communities began to dissolve. We put more distance between ourselves and our neighbors. Big business emerged, and Butcher Bob's small shop was replaced by a massive, impersonal supermarket chain. The focus of business shifted. It became less about building a legacy and more about satisfying quarterly returns and improving stock options. As our society became more relaxed and informal, big business seemed to take that as a cue. They looked at the customer and thought, well, if they don't care, neither do we. And so began what Vaynerchuk calls the customer service dark ages. Companies started cutting anything that didn't directly boost the bottom line. Gas station attendants vanished. Live human beings on the phone were replaced by endless automated menus. Press 1 to spell your name. Press 2 to place an order. We all griped, but there was nothing we could do. The companies had all the power. They were massive, global entities. What did it matter if they lost one customer or 100? The cost of actually caring for each individual was too high. The ROI, they said, just wasn't there. Then, around 2003, a new train started rumbling across the digital landscape. It was called Web 2.0, what we now know as social media. Suddenly, the silent, isolating internet became chatty, personal, and revealing. The world, as Vaynerchuk beautifully puts it, was transformed into one great big small town. We started checking Facebook in the morning, the same way our grandparents strolled to the diner for coffee and news. We liked a friend's graduation photo the way we would have once nodded approvingly at a neighbor's kid mastering his scooter. We were connected again, sharing the small details of our lives, our thoughts, and our experiences. This was more than just a technological shift. It was a massive cultural revolution. And with it came a gigantic power shift, right back to the consumer. For the first time in decades, people had a voice again. But this time, word of mouth wasn't limited to the PTA meeting. It could travel across the globe in seconds. If you had a bad experience with a company, you could post a frustrated tweet or a status update that could be passed along forever. Suddenly, one disgruntled customer wasn't just one person anymore. They were a potential public relations nightmare. Vaynerchuk tells the story of Giorgio Galante, who, frustrated with AT&T's service, emailed the CEO twice. The response he got was a voicemail from the company's executive team threatening legal action if he contacted the CEO again. The story exploded across the internet. How many people decided right then and there to switch providers? Too many for AT&T's comfort, you can be sure. 5 years earlier, that story would have gone nowhere. Today, you don't need a juicy angle to get attention. You just have to care enough to talk about your experience, and everyone you know might rally behind you. This is the world we now live in. This is the thank you economy. It's an economy where businesses must start thinking like those old-school small-town shop owners again. It's not just about being nice. It's about minding your manners in a very old-fashioned, authentic way. It's about recognizing that the relationship between a business and a customer has fundamentally changed. The one-way monologue, where companies just push their message down our throats, is over. Now it has to be a dialogue, an interaction, a relationship. And this brings us to the first and perhaps most important lesson of the thank you economy. The revolution doesn't start with your marketing department. It starts with your culture. Vaynerchuk points to one single event that made the existence of the thank you economy a matter of public record, July 22, 2009. That was the day Amazon bought the online retailer Zappos for $1.2 billion. Many insiders thought Amazon overpaid. But Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder, knew exactly what he was buying. He wasn't just buying a shoe company. He was buying a culture. Zappos was famous for one thing above all else, an obsessive, almost fanatical dedication to customer service. They were so good at it that people were willing to buy products from them even when Amazon sold the same things for less. Bezos knew that in the future, the company that outcares everyone else is the company that wins. He saw that culture was the next great competitive playing field. But here's the secret that even Bezos didn't mention in his video about the acquisition. Vaynerchuk argues that to truly succeed, your obsession shouldn't be your competitors or even your customers. The dominant obsession for any leader in the thank you economy must be your employees. Think about it. A great caring culture has to start at the top and flow down through the entire organization like a waterfall. If you want your team to show incredible care to your customers, you first have to show incredible care to your team. You can't expect employees to give phenomenal customer service if they aren't phenomenally satisfied with their jobs. This isn't about foosball tables or free snacks. It's about two simple, powerful things. First, treating your employees like adults, trusting them to manage their jobs as they see fit until they prove they can't. Second, it's about making them feel that their individual needs are being met. This requires engaging with your employees at the same deep, one-on-one level that you want them to engage with your customers. Vaynerchuk predicts that one day, every great company will have a chief culture officer whose sole job is to keep track of the needs of every single employee and do their best to meet them. Because when people are happy, they want to make other people happy. When your employees feel valued, cared for, and trusted, they become a passionate army devoted to a cause, not just a staff centered around a job. So how do you build this culture? It starts with a few foundational blocks. First, it begins with you, the leader. You have to be self-aware. Don't try to be something you're not. If you're a conservative company, be a conservative company. Just one that puts its people and customers first. Authenticity has to start at the top. Second, you have to commit completely, not halfway. The mental commitment to creating a culture of caring is more important than any financial commitment. Third, you have to set the tone. Your employees need to see you modeling the behavior you expect. John Pepper, the CEO of a burrito chain called Boloco, does this brilliantly. When a customer complained that his favorite burrito was taken off the menu, Pepper didn't send a corporate form letter. He wrote a long, personal, and honest email. He explained the business reasons behind the decision, he didn't make false promises, and he genuinely expressed his regret. He even offered the customer a gift card to try something new on the menu. That letter was personal, honest, and accommodating. That is setting the tone. And finally, you have to trust your people. Give them the freedom to be themselves, to experiment, to use their own judgment. Best Buy did this with their 12th Force, empowering employees to blog and tweet freely to help customers. When you create the right internal culture, you don't have to fear what your employees will say, because they'll be saying the right things. Once that culture is in place, you can start to think about your intent. This is the difference between playing for numbers and playing for connection. Vaynerchuk says the single biggest differentiator in this new economy is good intent. If your intentions are good, it shows, and it creates a powerful pull, drawing people to you. Ask yourself, when you engage in social media, what is your goal? Is it just to get a click or a like? Or is it to foster a real connection? If your only goal is to rack up more followers than your competitor, you're playing the wrong game. You might make contacts, but you won't make connections. Old school marketing was all about pushing a message. You bought a TV ad or a billboard, and you pushed your message into the consumer's consciousness. Social media only works when it pulls. You have to evoke an emotion, give people something to talk about, and allow them to pull you into their world. It's about creating an opportunity for engagement, not forcing it. This principle also applies to how you combine old media with new. Vaynerchuk describes the perfect strategy as a game of ping pong. Traditional media can serve the ball, but social media has to return it. Think about the Super Bowl. Denny's ran a hilarious ad offering a free Grand Slam breakfast. Millions of people saw it. Great. But that's where the date ended. What if, Vaynerchuk asks, they had added one simple line? Go to facebook.com/Denny's right now, become a fan, and get a coupon for a free orange juice too. Millions of people would have connected with the brand, giving Denny's permission to continue the conversation for years to come. They spiked the ball when they should have kept the rally going. Reebok, on the other hand, played ping pong perfectly. They ran a TV ad with hockey star Sidney Crosby, showing him in his childhood basement, shooting pucks at the old family dryer. The ad cuts off right in the middle of a competition between him and a teammate. To see who wins, the screen says, you have to go to their Facebook page. Ping. The TV ads serve the ball. Pong. Tens of thousands of fans flocked to Facebook to continue the story, and the conversation began. That is how you extend the date. Perhaps the greatest and most cautionary tale of media ping pong is the story of Old Spice. In 2010, they launched a brilliant campaign with a commercial starring the impossibly charming Isaiah Mustafa, also known as the man your man could smell like. The ad was funny, smart, and instantly memorable. Ping. Then, they did something genius. They took to Twitter and YouTube and announced that the Old Spice Man would personally respond to questions from fans in real time. Over 2 days, Mustafa filmed nearly 200 short, hilarious videos replying to everyone from regular fans to celebrities. Pong. The internet went wild. Sales of Old Spice body wash soared by 107%. It was a massive, undisputed social media victory. But then, they dropped the ball. After the 2-day video blitz, the conversation just stopped. The Old Spice Twitter account went nearly silent. They had built this incredible community, this massive wave of engagement and goodwill, and then they just walked away. Vaynerchuk calls this a classic sprinter's mindset in a marathon runner's economy. A social media campaign in the thank you economy is never done. They had a chance to turn strangers into friends, but they settled for a one-shot tactic. They left their customers behind. This is the hard part. It's not about a single campaign. It's about a relentless, day-in, day-out commitment to caring. It's about watering as many plants as you can, and putting out every fire. And sometimes, it's about doing something so unexpected, so generous, that it leaves people speechless. Vaynerchuk calls this shock and awe. It doesn't have to cost a fortune. It's about the care and creativity involved. What if a hardware store owner made a personalized video for every customer who bought a bottle of Goo Gone, offering extra tips? What if a bakery sent a free birthday cake to everyone on their Facebook fan page for a whole week? The word of mouth generated from these small, heartfelt gestures would be worth more than any billboard. Joie de Vivre, a boutique hotel company in California, has mastered this. They challenge their employees to create dream-maker moments for guests. One reservations manager learned that a guest was staying at the hotel to be near her son, who was battling cancer. She went out and bought the mother a special tea set and some sunflowers, with a note that said, "For a loving mother who deserves to relax." Can you imagine how many times that mother told that story? That is shock and awe. That is the thank you economy in action. Of course, many leaders hear these ideas and immediately put up walls. They say, "There's no ROI." Vaynerchuk's response is simple. What's the ROI of your mother? You don't quantify the return on that relationship, but you know its value is immeasurable. In a world where nearly 70% of people turn to friends and family for purchasing advice, there is absolutely ROI in friendship. Social media is where those conversations are happening. They say we need to control our message. That ship has sailed. The customer you should be scared of isn't the one who complains on your Facebook page. It's the one who has a bad experience, says nothing to you, and never comes back. That's the person who should keep you up at night. They say it's just a trend. No, the platforms might change. MySpace was once dominant, now Facebook is. But the underlying cultural shift, the expectation of communication, transparency, and connection, is here to stay. When your customers move to a new platform, you move with them. The relationships are what matter, not the car they're riding in. Ultimately, the answer is always the same. Are your competitors bigger than you? Outcare them. Are they cheaper? Outcare them. Do they have celebrity endorsements? Outcare them. Your heart is a boundless resource. It doesn't matter if you're a B2B company, like Avaya, which closed a $250,000 deal because they were listening on Twitter. It doesn't matter if you're a small-town burger joint like AJ Bombers, which doubled its revenue by letting its customers help build the brand. It doesn't matter if you're a dentist in San Francisco or a lawyer in Virginia. The principles are the same. Show up. Listen. Care like crazy. Treat every single customer, online and off, as though they are the most important person in the world. Because in the thank you economy, they are. When you really boil it down, the message of the thank you economy is incredibly simple, yet profoundly challenging. It's not really about social media at all. The platforms, Twitter, Facebook, whatever comes next, they're just the tools. They're the modern-day equivalent of the town square, the telephone, or the front porch. The real story here is about a return to something fundamental about what it means to be human. For decades, business got caught up in the illusion of scale. We built systems, processes, and corporate structures that were incredibly efficient at moving products, but terrible at making connections. We optimized for the transaction, and in the process we forgot about the relationship. We built a world where it was normal to feel isolated, unappreciated, and ignored by the very companies we gave our money to. What Gary Vaynerchuk saw so clearly is that technology didn't create a new world, it revived an old one. It gave us back the power of our own voices and reconnected us in a global village. It put reputation, trust, and authenticity back at the center of the equation. It reminded us that business, at its core, is always personal. The most powerful lesson I take from this book is the idea that the way you treat your employees is the way your employees will treat your customers. The idea of a chief culture officer feels revolutionary, but it's really just a modern title for an age-old concept. A leader who understands that an organization's soul is its greatest asset. If you build a culture of trust, empathy, and empowerment internally, the caring will inevitably flow outward. You can't fake it. People's BS radars, as Gary calls them, are too sharp. True, lasting success has to come from a place of genuine intent. So, how can you start living in the thank you economy today, right now? Here are a few simple actions to get you started. First, just listen. For the next 15 minutes, go online and search for conversations happening about something you're passionate about. It could be your favorite hobby, a cause you believe in, or the industry you want to work in someday. Don't post anything. Don't try to sell anything. Just listen to what people are saying, what they care about, what their problems are. This is the first step to empathy. Second, practice shock and awe on a small scale. Pick one person in your life, a friend, a family member, a teacher, a customer, and do something small but unexpected to show your appreciation. It could be a handwritten thank you note, a thoughtful email mentioning something specific you admire about them, or a small, personalized gift. The goal isn't to get something in return, it's to experience the power of making someone's day. And third, embrace transparency. The next time you make a mistake, even a small one, own it completely. Don't make excuses. Apologize sincerely, and explain what you learned. Whether it's to a friend, a parent, or a customer, you'll find that genuine accountability doesn't weaken relationships. It builds unbreakable trust. We've explored the core ideas of the thank you economy today, but I'll be honest with you, a summary can only take you so far. The real magic happens when you dive into the book yourself. It's in the raw energy of Gary's voice, the depth of his stories, and the passion that leaps off every page. This summary is your map, but the book is the journey. If any of the stories or ideas we've talked about today sparked something in you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning business strategies. It's an experience that can genuinely change how you think about connection, legacy, and the simple power of saying thank you. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this summary valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe. We're building a community here, dedicated to exploring the world's most powerful ideas, one book at a time. Let's keep growing together.